You know, can I talk to you guys really honestly, very quickly?
No.
About this new album you have? By the way, tell everybody who you are. Let's start. Introduce yourselves to the class.
I'm Dan.
Will. Woody.
Kyle. And we are in a band called Bastille.
Your album, pound for pound, song for song, lyric for lyric, is exactly what music needs right now.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And I'm telling you, it is pushing pop music forward with something very intent to say. And I have to tell you, I tweeted this earlier because I was just listening to the album track by track, and I was on this trip through Texas driving from Austin to Corpus Christi, back roads to Texas, right? And I'm listening to the album. Every song resonates. I mean, we could go through the entire set list because I could talk to you for an hour about not just the single, but other songs and the things that you guys went through when you were writing this album. And you must have been in one hell of an emotional place. Because it's hope from heartbreak. It's passion when there shouldn't be passion. It takes pessimism and tosses it out the window. This is exactly the album that the music business needs, that radio needs. And I think that fans of music who want something substantive, I think this is exactly the right album at exactly the right time. So thank you for coming.
Wow, thanks so much, man.
This interview has been great. I can't get any better. Let's just
We're gonna do shots now. All right. No, but tell me where you were. Where was your headspace with this? Because I literally want to pull up the track list and be like, let's talk about this song. Let's talk about this song. Let's talk about this song. I'm coming across like a fanboy right now.
No. I mean, I guess it's because the album was a kind of labour of love across the last 3 years when we were touring, and things going on in the world, things going on in our lives, and I think because it's such a kind of accumulation of everything,
right?
It's hard to pin it down. You know, there's songs written. There's a song that we wrote in a little backstage room in Berlin.
Right.
And we had a few hours spare, and there's other stuff.
Which one was that?
It's Two Evils, which is the sort of really quiet moment in the middle where it's just
pretty spectacular. That song is amazing. You know what song is also awesome? Send It Off. That might as well be the theme song for my head. I'm serious now. And if you don't know this, if you haven't listened to the album, you are doing yourself a disservice if you have not downloaded this on whatever app you've got. Buy the damn thing because they need to get paid. But more importantly, go see them live because that's how they get their money. Because the record companies, no offense to y'all, we know. So go buy their merch and go see them live so that they can support their family and keep making this art for us because it's amazing. Like, Send Them Off, where did that come from?
I guess it's sort of trying to channel the stuff that goes on in your head and irrational jealousy and stuff, but via...
It sucks, doesn't it, this irrational jealousy?
Really
How do you get it under control? You just sit down and you write.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess trying to channel it through... the imagery from like Othello and The Exorcist, which is pretty much two cultural references that couldn't be further apart if you tried.
right.
And via a big old horn riff though, where it's like our kind of like, if we had a superhero theme song, it would be that.
Dude, it is a brilliant song. You know what else is good too? Glory. Oh my God. Like what? Tell me about that one.
So that song is kind of, it's meant to be like almost like Wayne's World moment of like two friends or lovers or whatever kind of lying in the road or lying on the bonnet of the car, having had after a few drinks and watching planes fly over their heads and talking about setting the world's problems to rights.
Right.
But obviously not actually doing that. They're just talking crap. But in their heads it's like it's that woozy moment in the middle of the night where you think you're saying something significant and you're probably not.
And that's also the song where also it's back to like Just Dan's vocal where itself is really bare, and it's like, I think I could have sex with this guy, maybe.
Right. Wow. So you wanted to spoon with him in the studio in the back of the bathroom.
I want more than that.
No. You just wanted to get right down to it. Now, who broke you and hurt your heart when you wrote the song Fake It?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, the flashback then in your eyes. Like straight back to
what happened and how did you guys help him get through it? Because I'm telling you, lyrically, pound for pound, this is one of the best written albums in pop music, period, right now. For this moment.
Thanks very much.
And it's songs like this. If you don't know, you're robbing yourself.
We wanted to make an album that was kind of that kind of represents how messy and complicated life can be, and the massive ups and downs, and just try and make something that had layers and was complex and sonically explores a lot of different things. And it's really great to hear you respond to it like that.
And shame, oh my God. Like this, I'm telling you, if you've not listened to the entire album, you are doing yourself a disservice. Screw Netflix and catching up on stuff you missed. Go just get the album and just listen to it from beginning to end. It is so worth your time. It'll speak to, it'll move you. It's everything that music is supposed to be. So thank you for that. Tell me about the studio process too, because for those of you who haven't heard the album, it's kind of, I love where it's taking music, because it's, first of all, it's not fake. It's all stuff that you guys are going to perform for fans downstairs. But in the studio, it's almost like you went and took some of the 90s, mixed it with some of the 80s, threw in some Phil Collins with some New Order, and mixed all of this stuff up. Maybe you had a couple of shots with Matt Healy from the 1975 because he thinks this way. And then you took some Peter Gabriel and you went like this. And you've created something sonically which just cuts through the noise that is popular music right now. So tell me what went on and where your headspace was when you created this.
Well, first of all, mentioning Phil Collins, there's a song that didn't make the album, which you won't get finished, which has got the biggest drum fill ever. I was so pleased that it was on. Like, finally get my little drum moment, and then, no.
What is this crap? Why? Why do you oppress them this way? What is this? You think it's all about you with your words?
It's my job to make sure they're having the worst time possible.
No, so will that be a B-side then? Tell me about that.
I hope we'll finish it at some point, and then it's still one of my favourites. We just never quite got it.
What's finished? Wait, hang on.
I was singing it.
I just did.
He just said it. I still got no idea what went on.
No, so have I. Well, let's talk about afterwards.
Yeah.
The process, I guess.
Get back to the
Back to the process. It was a mix actually. There were times where, like we said, we'd be backstage. Mark, the producer that we work with, who's like a really good mate of ours, he'd come out on tour with us. So sometimes we'd set up literally in the tour bus. Like there's guitar solos on that album that Will did in the back of the bus.
Right.
We'd be in backstage rooms. Then also, like, collectively, we thought it'd be really nice to go together for 2 periods to a big studio in London, to set up loads of keyboards, set up loads of guitars and drums and everything, and record like a real band. And there's also quite a lot of going back to the place we made the first record, which is literally a bunker, a windowless basement underneath a housing estate.
Smaller than this room.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's tiny. And it's where we made a lot of the first album, and we wanted to sort of go back there, and because we made so much music, this is this sort of culmination of the last 3 years of just making and writing. And then at the beginning of this year, we went to Mark's tiny little box room with no windows and no ventilation, and locked ourselves away and kind of just self-curated and went back through everything and sort of turned it into what it is. So yeah.
So how long does it take you guys when you're writing a song? Like 19 tracks on the album?
Yeah.
19. How many did not make the album? And how do you choose out of this? And how long does it take you to write a smash? Like, does it just come out?
It's so weird. I think the process is always really different. There are songs on there that took half an hour to write. There's other ones that took, a year to finish. Not to write, but just because I guess the thing is we look back to artists that we love who used to release 2 albums a year, and those must have been amazing times. But I think just we've been so fortunate with our last album to be able to tour so much.
Right.
We've got to visit pretty much every country we've ever wanted to go to, bar a few. And so it meant that it was kind of there were long creative processes of recording and writing, and then there were bits of breaks, and then I don't know, it was kind of calling it piecemeal is kind of undermines it, because I don't think it was this constant thing that went through everything. But there were obviously different periods where we get to concentrate on it more. But we wrote probably like 30 songs, and we produced most of them because we do everything ourselves with Mark. We sort of put everything into each song.
Right.
And sometimes you don't get it right the first time. So there's tracks on the album that. There's one called Snakes and one called Blame that have been around for a couple of years, and we started playing them live because we got impatient.
Right.
And that hugely informed how they are on the record now.
Right.
So it was, in that respect, it was.
Also, even like right up to the kind of final deadline for delivery, like Dan was still changing lyrics and that sort of stuff. So much so that when we came to the States on a trip before the album came out, we were playing it to certain key radio partners and such. We were sat in the room, put the song on, and was like, here it goes like this, and then all of a sudden different words came out. We're like, you changed it again.
You're like, what?
Cool.
I had to
inform the rest of us, damn it.
There are 3 songs I had to get retracted from mastering just so I could change it. I'm such a nightmare to work with. But anyway,
but this is your art. Like what is it you hear we hear these stories about like working with Rick Rubin. I mean, the man tells U2 and Linkin Park, go back and do it again. Do it again. Do it again. You want it to be perfect, because here's the thing. That's your process. And you at the end of the day, I know people who do what you guys do. Obviously, we talk to a lot of them. And, they tell me this. They're like, even though we think we have it perfect, when I hear it on the radio, I still hear something maybe we could have done differently.
Yeah.
Or when I hear it, and I'm on a run, I hear something maybe we could have played this differently. Why did we cut that big drum line out? Why did we oppress our drummer? I mean, this is why. Now, I know, but you know what? I want you to know you will have your time. But listen, we've got to go because we've got fans downstairs who want to talk to you. But before I let you go, I want to know the toughest in this creative process. There can be differences. You guys can get really, really pissed off at one another, yet you come back together. all bands go through drama because it's like a family. What's the toughest time that you guys had? The time that you thought, this might just totally F things up. And how'd you get through it?
Good question.
So when you cut that song off the album, it's when you said, this can't make the album, your big drum moment is gone.
That was quite, things, I think our worst thing as a band ever is choosing a set list.
Oh, God, I hate it so much.
That's like the worst part of every day.
Right.
That's always pretty tense. But there was definitely picking what tracks made it and didn't make it onto the album was tough, because you go through, everybody has different favourites at different points, and that changes all the time.
It couldn't just be like a right, let's take this one out, because that would affect the kind of flow of the next, and so if Dan decided to change one, then you would have to reorder almost all of them to fit in with the new idea. It was chaos. I'm terrified of going downstairs now and working out in what order we should play the 4 songs that we're going to play. Right. I just want to keep talking because I don't want to go down.
This anxiety. Well, let's get some Xanax for you guys, man.
Let's do
that. Xanax and shots. No, don't abuse prescription meds. It's not a message from them. I'm just talking out my ass. Listen, guys, in all seriousness, without trying to come across like some super fan or some whatever, you guys have managed with this album to deliver something which takes... it takes words, and it takes lyrics, and it takes music, and it takes soul, and it squeezes the heart, and it creates an experience for fans. And that is, as a fan, that is something that you can't buy. So thank you for creating that experience for your fans. Thanks. And continued success, because you guys have delivered something very, very special to the music world, to the pop culture universe. And I think there are a lot of people like me who are moved by everything you guys did together collectively in the creative process to make this album what it is. So thank you.
We actually ordered a load of billboards recently, just last week. If only we had a few quotes from here today.
Feel free to use them. The label's taking notes. They're like, oh, we got this. He's like, I got this video for our website. It's on and popping. Thank you for being here today.
So much.
Thank you for your art. It is just brilliant.
Thank you.
It is brilliant. The album is masterful.
Thank you.